So just finished my 10-day Vipassana stay. It's a 10-day retreat, meditation, silence, and thought I'd just do a video just to share my thoughts, my insights, and any sort of breakthroughs, anything that I had. It's the second one I've done. I did the first one back in 2012, and it was pretty amazing. I definitely felt a lot more peaceful. Definitely was just more able to deal with stuff in the outside world and just not be affected, which is the teaching of Vipassana. So the whole idea with Vipassana is to take refuge in Dharma, or live Dharma. So Dharma is the spiritual path, love, compassion, equanimity, yeah, it's a beautiful experience, and it's tough. It's really tough. Definitely had an up and down experience. There's a lot of emotions, a lot of physical pain in the body when you're sitting there for. You probably do about 8 to 10 hours of meditation every day. But as you go on, there's three sittings that you have to do: 8 till 9, 2:30 to 3:30, and 6 to 7. Where you can't move at all. So you can't move your hands, can't move your feet, can't change your posture, and that's just basically to just have the body in a state where you're not affected by the sensations. So you observe the sensations, watch them rise, watch them fall, understand that it's just impermanence, it's anicca, as it's said. Yeah, so it's basically the unconscious mind. So any of the samskaras, any of those deep-seated emotions, those deep-seated traumas that we have, or even just stuff that holds us back, irrational fears, just negative thinking, all that sort of stuff. So it comes up in the body, you observe it without reacting to it, and it'll eventually pass. And when that happens in daily life, when those things come up, you feel the sensations, you're aware of your breath, those stuff, as you do this more and more and more, it becomes more of a practice in your life, then those unconscious habit patterns start to just dissolve, disintegrate, and disappear, and you're a lot more harmonious, less miserable, less suffering, and you're able to really live from your heart. And love actually becomes an art. It's actually a way of life. It's not just a word that we use when we want to show affection. It's actually something so much deeper than that. It's who we are, and it's beautiful. So yeah, obviously I went in there after a pretty tough year, just with the loss of my girlfriend, or the breaking up of that, and I could see exactly what that triggered inside of me, and I was able to see it come up and to observe it and to just wish it well and see it later. And it's one of those things, we want to hold on to stuff, we want to attach ourselves to things that sometimes we just have no control over, and the things you can control, we don't really do a really great job with them sometimes. And I just wanted my smile back before I went in there, and I've got it back. I feel as though it's come back, and obviously want to get back into daily living, the real world as they call it, whatever you want to call it, just the life that we've created. Once I get back into that, and that's where the rubber hits the road. That's where I can see if I've done the hard work or there's still a long way to go. Goenka, who's the guy that brought this stuff to the West, he said that minimum 2 hours a day, hour in the morning, hour at night. Can I do it? Will I do it? Let's wait and see. I really feel inspired, and I'm going to begin today. Obviously I've done my hour this morning, so I'll do an hour this afternoon, and we'll go from there. And yeah, it's the beginning of a new day. Today's obviously when you feel as though you've gone through a life experience where you've changed a certain way of thinking or whatever, you know, you get all inspired and it's great and all that sort of stuff, and it doesn't last as long as we want it to. So it's got to become a way of life. It has to be from within. Basically everything that we ever do in our life, whether we like it or not, our own salvation is up to ourselves. All those old habit patterns that we have, you know, sometimes we love them because they're like old friends, and it's hard to say goodbye to friends. But when you realize that those habit patterns don't really make your life that great, it's just time to say goodbye. So enough of the bullshit, enough of the talking, and it's just straight into it. So Vipassana, definitely recommend it. I was up here in the beautiful Blue Mountains. I'm actually just sitting in the car park. It's raining, so I can't really stand outside. Yeah, it's just on a little acreage overlooking the valley. Magnificent views. And you get all your meals given to you every day. You basically live like a monk, so no speaking, no reading, no listening to music, no outside influence at all, no phones, no laptop. You have 2 meals a day. Start at 4 o'clock and you finish by about 9:30, lights out. And your day is just basically meditation, going for a bit of a walk here and there, eating and sleeping. That's it. And it's 10 days, and you feel like you want to leave, you feel like you've had enough, but you just stay with it. There's some meditation, you just sit there and nothing gets done. All you're doing is just keeping your eyes closed, just watching the thoughts passing by, thinking, when is this going to end? Damn, my body hurts. This sucks. Is this doing anything? But the power is in just turning up and just doing it, you know. And meditation is a very arduous process. It's not something you can just do half-heartedly. It's not something that, you know, you do for 5 years, you do for 10 years or whatever. It's basically a constant purification of the mind, because the mind gathers dust all times. You know, it's just like anything in your house. If you leave it long enough, dust accumulates, and if you don't move that dust away, and it becomes, you know, thick sludge or whatever. It gets in your lungs and everything. So the habit patterns or the mind, it gathers stuff all the time just through the senses. You know, every day we're bombarded with different sensations, from the ears, sight, smell, you know, touch. Everything is just bombarding the senses, and those sensations, the mind either likes it or doesn't like it, forms an opinion around that, or forms an aversion or a attachment. And before we know it, those attachments and those aversions run the unconscious mind, and you're doing stuff you're not even aware of doing, because the sensations pick it up and the thoughts then drive the actions. And before you know it, you keep doing the same things that you've always done, and then you're scratching your head going, why isn't it changing? Why isn't it changing? And you know, the tool that the Buddha used, or the Dharma that the Buddha gave to people that wanted to learn what he learnt and what he had direct experience of, this is the teaching, and it's purification of the mind, morality, and mastering the mind. And you know, I've done meditation practices in India before, and you meditate to the point where you're observing the breath, you have a mantra, or you focus on a point in the body, but you don't really observe sensations, and you don't have the direct experience of impermanence, which is the rising and falling of sensations. So you'll see something in your body arise, you remain equanimous, so you don't like it or you don't dislike it, you just let it be, and before you know it, it's gone. And that is the law of life. You know, impermanence is the law of life. And you know, I realized that quite often we forget, we just know it intellectually or whatever. And then also just, you know, being miserable. Like, I didn't know how miserable I actually am. I didn't know how sad I actually am, because I'm holding on to the past so much. You know, I'm wanting my dad to be there, I'm wanting my girlfriend in my life, or I'm wanting my job to be better, or, you know, I don't like where I'm living, or